Damn, we gotta start the show already?
This is This Between Us.
The number one podcast in the world.
This is
the JBU.Show featuring Austin,
from the Miller Talk Podcast,
Allen,
the American Sincerest,
and now your host,
Cam Allen.
All right, how's it going, everybody? My name is Chris, and this is the JBU Show. Joining me tonight is nobody because they just aren't here. Austin mate drop in, I don't know. I asked him what he was doing, and then he said he was hungry. So take that for whatever answer it is, but that's all right. Before we get to the breaking news about the show, we first have some breaking news on the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting. It turns out that the photos that were shared of the shooter at the White House Correspondents' Dinner were not real. And in fact, there is a different shooter that was found and was quickly removed from the scene before anybody could find out. Turns out we're familiar with this person as well. And now, as an exclusive story to the JBU Show, we have a photo of the actual shooter. I guess there's no surprise there. All right. This will be the last show for a while, which is why I'm doing it on Monday. We don't normally do shows on Monday. We do them Wednesday through Sunday. But I'm going to be taking a break for a little bit. It's going to be 2 weeks, is at least where I'm putting it for the moment. We will see how it goes. There's a lot of things that I've been trying to get done with the show that I haven't been able to get done because of the show. And there's just kind of a lot of things going on right now. We do this for fun, so I'm going to step back for a couple weeks. I'm going to try not to be on social medias at all, none of it. And of course, that's impossible to do while I'm doing the show because I got to be on top of stuff in order to do it. So, nonetheless, that's what's happening. But I had a few stories that were already lined up, and I had yet to really say anything about that. So I figured it'd be best to do a show so that anybody that comes looking over the next couple weeks will know where we went. I will be back. Austin will be back too. Austin's not necessarily going anywhere. I might appear on Austin's show while I'm gone, by the way. So if you'd like to see the show, you can at least check out Austin's show at millertalk.substack.com or x.com/millertalk_pod. And you could probably catch me there anytime that he goes live, or sometimes when he goes live. We'll see how it goes. But again, it's not the actual end. I'm just taking a break for a little bit. And don't have it firmly defined out, so I can't say for sure exactly how long it's going to be. Anyway, we got a little bit to talk about the White House Correspondents' Dinner. We got the manifesto from the shooter himself. We got some videos from reactions. We got all kinds of various things to look at regarding that. Matter of fact, I just caught this next article here that I'm going to pull up. Elon Musk has gone to trial against Sam Altman over OpenAI, of course. So we might take a look at that later, but I'm not 100% sure. And then I just got some random videos and stories to get to, some stuff I want to talk about. Let's see. I apologize here. I was supposed to look through this before the show, and then I didn't. As far as we know, the Iran situation, coast is still frozen. We're not allowing any Iranian ships in, but traffic is allowed to move. Otherwise, there were a lot of lies going around by the mainstream media, even earlier this week, that not necessarily American traffic, but non-Iranian traffic was not being allowed to move either, and that Iran was stopping and seizing boats. All of that was bullshit. We were able to look and see on the maritime tracker that boats they said were not able to go through did in fact go right through the strait. So I don't know why the mainstream media is carrying the water for Iran, but they are, and it is what it is. Anyway, it does seem that there are some pirate situations going on that are seizing vessels. So take that for what it's worth, I guess. But other than that, kind of everything's at a stalemate. We're waiting to see what happens. I would not be surprised to see a large bombing campaign. Oh, I apologize, guys. There we go. I would not be surprised to see a large bombing campaign starting soon because everything's just stalemated. It also looks like my viewer thing is not working, so I have no idea what's going on, but it's Monday, so I don't expect a ton of y'all out there, and that's okay. Maybe we should actually get into it like I know what I'm doing here. Donald Trump met with Serena Williams and actually played a little bit of tennis with her. I'm going to try to play that for you, but unfortunately, Truth Social does not let me make videos bigger, which was the problem we had the other night with the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting. But this is, well, this is as big as I can go. There we go, and still get it in frame, so we'll try it.
And Donald Trump is always where the cameras are when it involves making money. And today at Lowe's Island in Sterling, Virginia, he opened the Tennis Performance Center. Trump volleyed with Serena Williams, shoes off, coat on. Donald Trump showing he's got some game, some little. It's right there at the Trump National Club. Both are tremendous facilities. It was good to see him out there, and the fans seemed to enjoy it.
He went back and forth for a little while. He's not the greatest tennis player, but can't be perfect at everything, can you? So you can see he was having a good time. And look at, I mean, consider the fact he's over 80 years old. I don't know exactly how old he is, 80-something. Think about Joe Biden's shuffle and watch this. This is, I mean, really impressive. Look at that. How many 80-year-olds do you know that can swing a racket like that, let alone, you know, he's not running back and forth, but he's moving just fine. He's not doing the Biden shuffle. And this is why people, anybody that's met Trump likes Trump. Even people that want to hate him.
Here we go.
All right. Little good guy Trump there. Glad to see that he's doing all right after the shooting. Of course, we have plenty of crazy leftists that we could watch. And we really need to talk about the White House Correspondents' Dinner. and the Secret Service. But we're going to wait. We're going to hold that till a little bit later. First, let's take a look at a different White House Correspondents' Dinner. So I don't know whose podcast this is. I've played clips from it a few times now. And, you know, some of it's bullshit. They do some of the conspiracy theory stuff, you know, get a lot of clicks, that sort of thing. And so be it. You know, I'm not, if people want to watch it, I'm not mad at somebody for putting it on, right? But I just want to point out that it's not always grounded in reality. However, what we're about to see is coming from somebody that was there, apparently. So we will take it for what it's worth, right? I guess that's all we can really do. And I'm trying to get it pulled up here, sorry. Gotta stop fucking apologizing so much, just a habit. Here we go.
So, why did we crash? Because President Obama needed to hit the White House Correspondents' Dinner. You've got to be fucking kidding me.
The U.S. tracked al-Qaeda couriers to a house in a town called Abbottabad, deep inside Pakistan. On April 30th last year, Mr. Obama and Panetta made a point of being seen at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Panetta's belly laugh was heard at every presidential punchline.
People think bin Laden is hiding in the Hindu Kush, but did you know that every day from 4 to 5 he hosts a show on C-SPAN?
But both men knew they had just pulled the trigger. SEAL Team 6 would launch in 16 hours.
The risks were enormous. Going in that far, the prospect of detection, the prospect that one of these helicopters might go down.
The height of the wall was 10 feet. Our helicopter hit. If you watch the Zero Dark 30 movie, the main rotor hits the ground, comes snapping off. That did not happen. Right, we hit. I jump out this door and run away, turn around and look, and the main rotors are still turning. They're within about a foot of hitting the ground. You want to talk about the big guy? Right? When your time's up, your time is up, and it was not our time. Inches. Landed perfectly. Helicopter didn't roll. Main rotor blades didn't snap off. Nothing. 40 feet up.
Seems like they could have flown it home.
Why did the helicopter crash? Great question. Okay. So, do you know what was happening in Washington, D.C. the day before the mission
about the music.
that the president
really
would have wanted to be at?
Anything about it.
I don't remember. A White House Correspondents' Dinner. So, the day we had originally planned to launch our mission was the day before we actually went. Right? It was a weekend, zero illume, so good time to go. President got involved. It was like, hey, can you guys push this one day to the right? Can we push to the right? I want to hit my dinner.
Remember the pictures of him
so we
in the
moved
Situation
the op
Room
to the right. Not me. It's well above my pay grade. The op was moved to the right. The next day, the temperature was roughly 8 degrees warmer than the day prior. You know how temperature affects density altitude, how a bullet flies over a mile. It affects how much lift a helicopter can have. So, hypothetically, because I'm not speaking in real terms of weights, right? If our helicopter could carry, say, 1,000 pounds, say we were at 800 pounds of load, that's fine. We operate within those margins. Normal. The next day, 8 degrees warmer. Temperature, we didn't have the lift. So what I've been told is we got into the target area. Our pilot was at full throttle, and we settled with power because he didn't have enough ass to keep the helicopter in the air. So why did we crash? Because the President Obama needed to hit the White House Correspondents' Dinner. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Yeah, it's a portion of it. Wow. Unfucking believable, man. The only political shots I take in No Easy Day, right? I make 2 political shots because I hate all politicians. Biden, right? He was VP at the time. We meet him after the raid, and he's like literally handsy, like trying to rub guys' shoulders and like tell them bad jokes in their ears. Like we're not teenage girls with ice cream here, dude. Like, come on. It's like, who's the drunk uncle that showed up at Thanksgiving? Like, oh, that's the vice president. Like, okay, that makes sense. Oh shit. And then Obama was great, right? Super smooth. We all stood up there, got our photo with him, gave a great speech, and then he invites us all to the White House, to the residence, for a beer. Okay. I'm very apolitical, but if a sitting president invites me and my team that just risked our lives for whatever to the White House to have a beer with the sitting president, you go, right? You're going to go, right? He invites the freaking women's World Cup soccer team, whatever. Like, everybody goes to the White House. Here's a sitting president inviting us to the White House for a beer right after we probably got him reelected. Do you think he ever followed up with that invite? Probably not. Nope. And so I bet you voted for change too. Like, that's my only one-liner in the book of like, yeah, I bet if you're still waiting for Obama to invite you to the White House for a beer, I know you just risked your life for him and you probably got him reelected. He invited you for a beer, but you think he's ever going to follow up with that? No.
And
wow.
This is really the thing here.
Not surprising, though.
This is really the thing. Does anybody not believe that the reason for the helicopter crashing in the bin Laden raid is because Obama wanted to be able to take the victory lap without it interfering with his previous victory lap of the White House Correspondents' Dinner? And then further, you have the story about Joe Biden coming in, rubbing guys' shoulders, acting like a fucking weirdo in the most disrespectful way, essentially. These are U.S. Navy SEALs, the most elite in our military. And he's acting like it's a bunch of high school boys that just won a football game. Because that's who these people are. They're narcissists. And when I say these people, I'm not just talking about Democrats. I'm talking about politicians. They're narcissists at their core. And they know when the cameras are on. So they know when to behave. But when the cameras are off, it's a different story. Their promises mean nothing. Their word means absolutely nothing. Their actions are entirely arrogant and self-centered. And they believe they can do no wrong. Trump, on the other hand, and I've pointed this out before, it's not like it's breaking news, his actions on camera are what? Well, sometimes they're quite rough. But in person, his actions are entirely different. And there have been numerous people that have said, I hated Trump. But something bad happens to them or to their family. Trump calls them personally and speaks to them. Or makes a promise to them at a campaign rally or something where he happens to meet them. And they don't expect it to be followed through because you expect a politician to make one-off promises like that when they're talking to you face to face, but they've got bigger things to deal with. They're gonna forget, right? But Trump has always come through. I've yet to see somebody complain that he didn't. Why? Because he's not a politician. And I don't think he's a narcissist either. And I don't think that anybody that is objectively looking at his behavior could say that he is. Does he have a big ego? Absolutely. But that's not the same thing as a narcissist. Joe Biden is a narcissist. Barack Obama, he's a narcissist too, but a little bit less than Joe Biden. Joe Biden is far worse than most. Trump may have a big ego, but he's a genuine person. And I believe that he genuinely tries to do good things, even if he's not always great at it. It's just worth noting. Now look, the other thing is, most presidents might have pushed up the deadline because they wanted to make this happen now, right? I'm not going to fault Obama because he asked them to push it a day. They agreed to push it a day. He didn't say he demanded. He said he asked. And look, he was doing it for entirely selfish reasons. It's bullshit. I'll judge him on it a little bit, but I'm not going to fault him entirely for the helicopter crashing. He didn't necessarily know that asking them to push it a day was going to mean warmer weather, which was going to mean problems. Remember, these helicopters, you might say, well, why would we have a helicopter that little temperature change affects it so much? These were prototype helicopters that were used in this raid. That's why. They were specialized stealth helicopters that this was the first time they were ever used in combat. And so because of all the stealth equipment, they probably were much heavier than previous non-stealth generations. And so it probably just wasn't even known or wasn't thought about. They didn't realize they were going to be pushing the weight so close. So I don't entirely fault Obama for that. It's just the narcissism of the whole thing that I'm pointing out here. So I just want to say that for posterity, but nonetheless, let's just go to a frivolous video real quick. The most Florida man video of the week. Got a gator running down the street. What are we gonna do about that gator? We're gonna get a barefoot guy with a hat on. There you go. Mandle that gator. So, I've said this before, but I went to Florida, took the kids on vacation to Universal and all that about a year and a half ago now. Oh shit, is it almost 2 years ago now? And I did not see a single gator. And I was pissed. Quite disappointed. A fuck ton of lizards and little baby geckos. Not a single gator. Who goes to Florida and doesn't see a single gator? Bullshit. I did get to see the tail of one when we were at the Kennedy Center. And we were riding out on the bus tour out to the launch pad. And in one of the ditches, a little gator flopped down into the water real quick. And I saw his tail. That was it. That was the closest I got. Whole life lived in the Northwest, never seen a gator. Didn't get to see one on my first trip to Florida. Absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, what else we got here? Looks like I didn't realize I had so few stories outside of the White House Correspondents' Dinner. How do I keep ending up in the wrong place? There we go. You know what? Let's play this video, actually. This wasn't on my list, but I want to play it. It seems to be getting... What I said seems to be getting a lot of reactions, so I'm gonna play it and see what you guys think.
So
Alright, so it says, went to a white hairstylist for the first time, and I'm forever changed. Now, I understand that the topic of conversation here might not be the most interesting for my viewers, but it is what it is. I'll speed it up just a little bit, because it's kind of a long story that's unnecessarily long.
This is about to sound so anti-black of me, but I just went to a white hairstylist for the first time in my life. Let me just explain to you, start to finish, this process, and then I think you'll understand what I mean, okay? So I needed to get my hair straightened, mostly because I needed a trim. And I asked one of my black coworkers, because her hair, she's like a straight natural, she always wears it straight. I was like, where do you go to get your hair done? She goes, I go to this white lady, but hear me out, she's amazing, like would highly recommend. She knows how to do hair, she knows how to do our hair, like trust me, just try her. I was like, I feel skeptical, but I go in, sweet lady. She says, what are we doing today? I said, I need my hair washed and then blow dried, straightened, trimmed. That's what I need today. She's like, great, we got it. I was like, you got it? She was like, I got it. I was like, okay, sure. So she shampoos my hair, great, fine. She gets done with my hair. She's like, okay, your hair's a little dry. I'm gonna go ahead and do a deep conditioning treatment. I was like, great, sounds great. She's like, but we've got to sit under the hood dryer. I was like, great. So I sit under the hooded dryer. I get out. She washes my conditioner out, gets going. She's like, okay, let's start to blow this out. Pulls out her Denman brush. I said, honey, where'd you hear about that? She's like, yeah, this is what I was like, got it. Uses the Denman brush, blows out my hair, gorgeous, by the way. In small sections, beautiful. Took her time. I didn't have to worry about my hair being yanked and pulled out and breaking off. She gets done. She's like, okay, let's go ahead and straighten. She pulls out her rat tail comb. I said, you're about to use that? She said, I'm about to use that. I said, I was wrong. Let me just get out of your business. Let me let you handle what you know how to handle. She did my whole hair, trimmed me. I said, this was beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous. Thank you for all you do. Oh, by the way, also curled my hair at the end. I say, hey, how much do I owe you? She says, $80. I said, is there one before the 80 or maybe a two before the 80? Because like that's kind of what I'm used to. Because mind you, you deep conditioned my hair, you trimmed it. I have layers, by the way. It wasn't just a straight across. I have layers. She had to trim layers, and she also curled it. So I was like, are you sure that that's the right number? She's like, yeah. Handed it over willingly, and then some. And I just, after that experience, I'm just like, what am I doing going to the other gals, you know, when I have this in my back pocket? I have fine hair, but I have very dense hair. I have a lot of hair. And even when I mentioned that on my own, I was like, yeah, just so you know, I got a lot of hair. She was like, yeah, you do have a lot of hair, but isn't that a blessing? I was like, what? She said, it's just, I was like, yeah, you know, but you know, curly hair is a lot of work. She was like, yeah, but it's so worth it. I was like, you're more pro-black than most of the stylists that I go to who see my head of hair and then say, hey, gotta charge you $100 more because you've got a lot going on and this is like kind of too much to deal with. More affirming than any stylist I've ever been to in my life. And now I'm sitting here like, I'm sure it's not every white stylist. I'm sure I found a golden ticket. But I'm sorry. To the stylists who have touched my hair before, you simply aren't going to see me anymore. And I feel so bad because I love supporting black business. I love it. It's in my blood. You know what I mean? But I just, knowing what I know now, I can't go back.
Okay. So, in response to this, I simply said, I want to mock her. But, I get it. And I get it because there is a portion of the black community, a large portion of the black community in the United States, that is constantly inundated from the moment they're born, practically 24/7, with how much Whitey hates them. It's simply not true. It's obviously not true. But there is a segment of the population, white and black. Really what it comes down to is they want revolution. And they recognize that in order to have revolution, you have to have division. And they recognize that the long-standing divide in this country between black Americans and white Americans that has never been perfect, but has certainly been better in the past than it is right this minute, could be built on. That division could be built on and added to. And frankly, they're just miserable people. Talking about the Marxist, socialist, BLM, Black Panther, Black Pride nonsense. And I'm not saying there's any problem with having pride in your... Well, there is, actually. We'll come back to that in a second. But those people are miserable. And they want you to be collectively miserable with them. Turns out this is going to be one of my most interacted posts this year, probably, which caught me off guard because it didn't seem like that. It's not like it's that deep of a thought. It's not like it's that particularly... It just didn't seem like... It was just a one-off comment. But there is something really important going on here. First of all, she is shocked because she's treating... Because this is the way she was probably told to, and that's fine, but I just want to highlight the core here, which is she's assuming white people have a particular character based on their skin color, which is exactly the opposite, not only of reality, but of, like, the point. The whole point of this country is it is based on individualism. We in this country are individuals, and that's the way the majority of us operate, both black and white. I don't care that you're black. I care that you're American. I care that you treat me as an individual and that you judge me as an individual, not as a member of some group, particularly by skin color or especially by skin color, because I find that to be the most useless. Yes, you can make certain generalizations about a person because of their skin color, but that doesn't tell you about the individual. It might tell you their eating habits. It might tell you likelihoods, but it doesn't tell you fact. If we judge Ben Carson on his skin color rather than on the individual, or Thomas Sowell, however you pronounce it, on his skin color rather than the individual, what would we have? A waste. A huge waste. These are two of the greatest minds to ever enter the American lexicon. I quote Thomas Sowell or whatever it is all the time on this show. And sure, not every white hairstylist is going to know how to do a black woman's hair the way that they want it done. Not every white stylist is going to know how to do every white person's hair the way they want it done. I, like most 12 to 14-year-old boys in middle school, had long hair. I don't think a single stylist ever cut it the way I wanted it cut. But it was what it was. You got to treat people on an individual basis. You cannot group them based on assumptions. And that's what this whole country is about. And we need... The goal is to get people that have been indoctrinated into that collectivist mindset, into that segregated mindset, is to get them to see that. I mean, that's what Martin Luther King was talking about. I hope that they are judged on the content of their character, not on the color of their skin. These days, the left wants you to judge people based on the color of their skin, based on the political affiliations that they have, based on anything other than the content of their character. So, as much as I want to mock this woman, I'm glad that she realized this. And I hope that she starts applying it to other things. And I hope that anybody else that felt the same does too. That's all. What's really funny too is the amount of those angry black Marxist socialists, and when I black Marxist is what I was saying, because they're white too, in the comments, that are just dragging her for abandoning black people and black businesses. And why would you go to a white person? Doesn't matter if they know how to do your hair. You're betraying your people. Shut the fuck up. Her people are Americans. I'm assuming she's American. Her people are Americans, black and white. My people are Americans, black and white, and Asian, and Native, and everything else under the sun. I don't give a shit where you came from or what your skin color is. I care. Do we agree on the fundamental principles and ideals of this country? That's all. And the amount of people that responded to my comment in anger, it was odd, because a lot of them are telling me, well, I must be racist. I don't actually believe what I'm saying. In fact, somebody specifically said, hold on, I gotta find it so I get it right. Somebody said, I would be willing to bet that every single black, I guess they meant black person, that lives within a mile of me is happier and more financially secure than you, and that someone who you love has been, quote, blacked. I have no idea what that means. But I said, yeah, I know a lot of black people that are as or more successful than me. They just aren't Marxist, socialist, Black Panther, BLM, blame whitey believers. They're Americans that believe in individualism and treating people on an individual basis. Just like the vast majority of us. I'm referring to a select group that intentionally foments hate and fear amongst the black community. That select group has unfortunately had a lot of success, and this video demonstrates, and as I was pointing out, has convinced many black Americans that whitey is out to get them. Still. The person responded, liar, you hate them. Okay. I don't know why people think like this. I don't know why people act like this. I have stopped questioning it altogether because I don't find much use in it. But whatever. Whatever makes you happy. Anyway, moving on to the next thing. Let's go ahead and address this guy while we're at it.
I'm from Seattle. MAGA won't step foot in my city without a police-armed escort.
Guess what, bud? From Seattle, too. We step foot in the city all the time. And we literally do not care or fear you in the slightest bit. Not at all. The only thing that we do slightly concern ourselves with is that you might do what cowards do and attack us while we're not looking, attack our small children or wives, girlfriends, whatever it is, because you're cowards, and that's what cowards do. You beat up on women, you shove them from behind. Where did I see that happen again recently? Oh, yeah. That's the only fear we have of you. But I promise you, we're here. We're all around here. Moving on. So, let's see. I'm not sure how much more we can get into here without getting into the White House Correspondents' Dinner, so let's just do that, shall we? So there's all sorts of different things, of course, going on about this. We saw the night of the shooting that the left immediately jumped on it being a hoax, on it being fake, blah, blah, blah. All the usual stuff. Is what it is. Don't care. Doesn't matter. Believe what you want to believe. I don't need to convince anybody that the shooting was real and poorly attempted. Now, one of the things that I haven't been able to get an answer on really, and that has been a little bit frustrating trying to get an answer on, is whether or not the shooter, Cole Allen, and remember, we don't say the shooter's names on this show, but I don't mind saying the shooter's name in this case because he fucking failed and is a loser. We have his full manifesto. We're going to look at that in a minute. Whatever point I was getting to, I just lost it. So I was busy doing something here while I was saying that, and then I got distracted. Point is, let's move on to the manifesto, shall we? It's one of the weirdest manifestos I've ever read. We've read many manifestos on this show of mass shooters, attempted assassins and mass shooters. Well, I don't know if we've read any others from Attempted Assassins. I think we did for the guy that tried at the golf course on Donald Trump. The rest, though, I think have been mass shooters. I don't think that there was a manifesto from the first guy that attempted on Trump. And I can't think of anybody else. If there is, you can let me know in the comments if I'm forgetting somebody. Nonetheless, it's one of the weirdest manifestos I've read. And I guess we'll go through why as we go through it. But what concerns me, well, a lot of things concern me. Let's just fucking go through it because I just can't. This comes from the New York Post. They posted the manifesto in full. It says, accused White House Correspondents' Dinner. There's also some similarities too, but accused shooter Cole Allen sent a sprawling manifesto to family members about 10 minutes before Saturday's attack. The 1,052-word missive obtained by the Post Sunday morning signed Cole Cold Force Friendly Federal Assassin Allen. Outlined his, quote, rules of engagement for the shooting, that's one of the similarities, and stated he believed it was a righteous duty to target administration officials. This is the manifesto in full. Everything I'm going to read here going forward, unless I say otherwise, is Cole Allen's words, not mine. Matter of fact, I'm going to put them on screen so that that's blatantly clear because I don't want somebody clipping this later. Let's see. Matter of fact, I'm going to put them on full screen and then you can't clip me at all. Look at me thinking. All right. Sorry about all the ads. He says, hello, everybody. So I may have given a lot of people a surprise today. Let me start off by apologizing to everyone whose trust I abused. Okay. Right off the bat, starts different than every other. Well, sort of. I mean, they all kind of acknowledge, like, hey, whoever's reading this is after I've done this. So, you know, they all kind of acknowledge it in that way. But still weird. I apologize to my parents for saying I had an interview without specifying it was for Most Wanted. I apologize to my colleagues and students for saying I had a personal emergency. By the time anyone reads this, I probably most certainly do need to go to the ER, but can hardly call that not a self-inflicted status. I apologize to all the people I traveled next to, all the workers who handled my luggage, and all the other non-targeted people at the hotel who I put in danger simply by being near. I apologize to everyone who was abused and or murdered before this. To all... That's a weird... Okay. Whatever. He clearly is not right, so I guess... The problem is how much he just thinks like an average leftist here. That's what makes this so weird, I think. Anyway, to all those who suffered before I was able to attempt this, and to all those who may still suffer regardless of my success or failure. I don't expect forgiveness, but if I could have seen any other way to get this close, I would have taken it. Again, my sincere apologies. As if anyone gives a shit. On to why I did any of this. I am a citizen of the United States of America. What my representatives do reflects on me. True. To some degree. And I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crime. Okay. Traitor, obviously a opinion. Pedophile, rapist. Neither is true. There is zero proof for either one. None. Whatsoever. He was found liable for slander about the assault against what's her name. He was not found guilty of the rape. The judge lied when he said that. And many other legal experts admitted that the judge was not being honest when he said Trump was found guilty of rape. Liable for rape. He wasn't. He was found liable for slander about the rape. That's it. And we all know that it wasn't a criminal trial. Meaning the bar of proof is far lower. There is almost no standard. You just have to get 6 of 12 jurors on your side. That's it. Now, he continues by saying, well, to be completely honest, I was no longer willing a long time ago, but this is the first real opportunity I have had to do something about it. While I'm discussing this, I'll also go over my expected rules of engagement, probably in terrible format, but I'm not military, so too bad. Now, this is something that they do all the time. They lay out their tactical goals. I don't know why. Some leftist manifesto somewhere must say that this is important for some reason. He says administration officials, not including Mr. Patel. They are targets, prioritized from highest ranking to lowest. Secret Service. They are targets only if necessary and to be incapacitated non-lethally if possible. AKA, I hope they're wearing body armor because center mass with shotguns messes up people who aren't. Hotel security. Not targets if at all possible. AKA, unless they shoot at me. Capitol Police. Same as hotel security. National Guard. Same as hotel security. Hotel employees. Not targets at all. Guests. Not targets at all. In order to minimize casualties, I will also be using buckshot rather than slugs, less penetration through walls. I would still go through most everyone here to get to the targets if it were absolutely necessary, on the basis that most people chose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, and traitor and are thus complicit, but I really hope it doesn't come to that. You start to see the delusion creep in here where he seems to think that that would even be possible. Rebuttals to objections. Here we see the delusion creep in a little more. Objection 1. As a Christian, you should turn the other cheek. Rebuttal. Turning the other cheek is for when you yourself are oppressed. I am not the person raped in a detention camp. I am not a fisherman executed without trial. You can't see it, but I'm rolling my eyes. I'm not a school kid blown up, or a child starved, or a teenage girl abused by the many criminals in this administration. Okay, whatever. Turning the other cheek when someone else is oppressed is not Christian behavior. It is complicity in the oppressor's crimes. Let's see. That was a map of the Washington Hilton, where you can kind of see how things took place here. Objection 2. Sorry, just a second. This is not a convenient time for you to do this. Who the fuck would say that? When is the convenient time? Rebuttal. I need whoever thinks this way to take a couple minutes and realize that the world isn't about them. Do you think that when I see someone raped or murdered or abused, I should walk on by because it would be inconvenient for people who aren't the victim? This was the best timing and chance of success that I could come up with. So here you see a little bit of a hero complex kind of situation going on. Objection 3. You didn't get them all. Gotta start somewhere. Objection 4. As a half-black, half-white person, you shouldn't be the one doing this. What? I don't see anyone else picking up the slack. Yield unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Objection number 5. The United States of America are ruled by law, not by any one or several people. Insofar as representatives and judges do not follow the law, no one is required to yield them anything so unlawfully ordered. I would also like to extend my appreciation to the many great people, to a great many people, and I will likely not be able to talk with them again unless Secret Service is astoundingly incompetent. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Thank you to my family, both personal and church, for the love of these 31 years, over these 31 years. Thank you to my friends for your companionship over many years. Thank you to my colleagues over many jobs for your positivity and professionalism. And thank you to my students for your enthusiasm and love of learning. my students. Thank you to the many acquaintances I've met in person and online for short interactions and long-term relationships, for your perspectives and inspiration. Thank you all for everything. Sincerely, Cold Force Friendly Federal Assassin, Allan. Now, I'm going to read the rest in a minute. There's a PS here. The PS regards Secret Service, so I'm going to get to that in a second. But first, let's talk about the main thrust of the manifesto. I think what's terrifying about it is you don't have nearly as much of the disillusionment that you have with most of these people. Most of these people, and there is a distinct difference between a mass shooter and an assassin, okay? But it's very clearly laid out here, because in a mass shooter, you often get a lot of delusion, you get a lot of kind of nonsense going on. We had the guy that we had a video of not too long ago where he had written stuff all on all the guns and equipment and stuff that he had, and some of the stuff didn't even make sense. There was a lot of things that like overlapped in weird ways that no one really understood, vice versa. Regardless, you don't see that here. There's a little bit of disillusionment, and it's kind of just in the narcissism of, I'm going to accomplish my goal, period, no matter how unrealistic it is. As we saw by the video, it was incredibly silly in his attempt, but dangerous nonetheless, but silly. That's what's concerning, because he is an otherwise average person that genuinely believes he's doing the right thing. He's completely wrong and delusional, but it's hard, even for me as somebody on the right, like, it's hard for me to blame him with all of the lies that he has been force-fed. Now, it doesn't excuse anything, because the truth is out there and it's not that hard to find it. But I understand somebody that is indoctrinated by this day in, day out, is surrounded by people indoctrinated in it day in, day out. Doesn't ever take the time to look for themselves. Doesn't ever question, is what I'm being told the truth? Why would they? Everyone around them is helping reinforce it, right? That's the biggest difference. As a conservative, the conservatives around me don't help reinforce my beliefs. They challenge me on my beliefs, conservative and otherwise, all the time. Leftists just simply don't do that. We see it all the time in videos where when somebody in the media is just asking them, hey, what are you doing here? And leftists will come in and block them from talking, because there's just the slightest chance that they could even get to something reasonable in that conversation. That's the problem. And so the fact is, this is on your hands if you are a leftist. All of it. Donald Trump is not Hitler. Donald Trump is nothing more than an average Republican president. There is no crimes that he's actually committed. There is no abuses of power that he's actually committed. There's certainly no evidence that he had anything to do with Epstein after his convictions, Epstein's convictions, after it was known who and what he did. In fact, as we've demonstrated on this show many times, he's the only person exonerated by the Epstein files. There are many people implicated. Trump is the only one exonerated. This is a man that was convinced by rhetoric that he was doing the right thing, that he was legitimately going to somehow save lives by doing this. He's lucky he didn't kill anybody. He's very lucky he didn't kill anybody. He's also lucky he's not dead. Though he might as well be. He'll spend the rest of his life in jail. And he should. Because all he had to do, at any point in time, was verify. Was sit back and question his beliefs and prove them right before. Or wrong. Because they are wrong, most of them. But I don't really care about the shooter. We know why he did it. We know what these leftists believe. We know that they're okay with violence. That they're more than happy with political violence, yada, 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 yada. It is what it is. I want to talk about the security. Okay? This is what he said at the end of the manifesto. P.S. Okay, now that the sappy stuff is done, what the hell is Secret Service doing? Sorry, gonna rant a bit here and drop the formal tone. Like I expected, security cameras at every bend, bugged hotel rooms, armed agents every 10 feet, metal detectors out the wazoo. What I got, who knows, maybe they're pranking me, is nothing. No damn security, not in transport, not in the hotel, not in the event. Now, obviously, he couldn't have seen everything prior to the event. He was probably mostly hiding in his room to avoid being suspicious. But he's not entirely wrong either, and we're going to talk about that. He says, like, the one thing I immediately noticed walking in the hotel is this sense of arrogance. I walk in with multiple weapons, and not a single person there considers the possibility that I could be a threat. I'm curious what he means by this, because he obviously didn't walk in with multiple weapons out. He didn't post this after. He posted this before he did the attack, so he didn't have the weapons out. Did he have them in obvious weapons cases? Or does he just mean that there was no detectors or anything to determine that there were guns in his suitcase or whatever it was? I don't know. That said, this is the United States. You do have the right to own firearms, so it shouldn't raise a ton of alarms in and of itself. Regardless, the security at the event is all outside, focused on protesters and current arrivals, because apparently no one thought about what happens if someone checks in the day before. Like, this level of incompetence is insane, and I very sincerely hope it's corrected by the time this country gets actually competent leadership again. I hope it gets corrected today. Like, if I was an Iranian agent instead of an American citizen, I could have brought a damn mod deuce in here and no one would have noticed shit. Actually insane. Oh, and if anyone is curious how doing something like this feels, it's awful. I want to throw up. I want to cry for all the things I wanted to do and never will, for all the people whose trust this betrays. I experience rage thinking about everything this administration has done. Can't really recommend it. Stay in school, kids. Again, more proof he was just truly convinced he was doing the right thing. Okay. So here's the layout again. Let's talk about the security failures. Sorry, let me get this back to me. There we go. Let's talk about the security failures for a minute, because there were a lot of them. The first thing I noticed was in the video of the suspect, and I'll pull that up here real quick. Let me off screen for a second so I can go pull this up. But one of the first things I noticed about it was that there was no barriers, like almost at all. And some of that could be due to the low quality video, so I want to allow that possibility, right? But let's take a look here. There it is. So again, this is on Truth Social, so it's not going to be in the best frame, but oh, of course. Okay. There we go. That's about as big as I can make it. But that's big enough. Okay. So, well, let's just watch it through real fast. It's going to come around the corner right here. There he is.
Shall I post it as soon as he passed down?
And again, shout out to this guy. Fastest on the draw. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So, here's where my problem is. You can see all the way down here. So there is a metal detector right here, I believe. Can you see my... Oh, you can't see my mouse on the screen. Duh. There we go. There is a metal detector right here, I believe. Yes, you can't see it. Okay. Other than that, you know, there's a little bit of stuff. There is some barriers on left and right of the metal detector to force you through the metal detector, but there's still a straight shot down to here. Now, we don't know if the ballroom is in these doors straight ahead or if it's off here to the right of the camera where we can't be seen. I believe it's off to the right of the camera. If we go back to this story, we have the suspect running this way. So the camera is like right here facing this way. These doors, so yeah, these doors, it says stairs to ballroom level. So apparently it would have been this way. So it would have been those doors straight ahead. It would have been these doors right here. I don't know why he ran straight past. Maybe there's another way. Maybe his intent was to get cover and shoot back. I have no idea. Regardless, you would expect to see something like this. This is standard security procedure in events like this. This is what these are for. Twofold. One, just for organizing lines. Nice and simple. But they function also as a security feature. Because instead of being able to just run straight across here, you now have to run back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You could try to run through here, but unless you manage to duck under them or jump over them, it's going to slow you down one way or another. Obviously, these ones look like they're cemented into the ground, but even if it was these temporary ones over here, you know, these things weigh a lot. Once you start dragging 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them, you're starting to very quickly slow down. Very basic security technique overlooked. The fact he was even able to get this close, period, with a gun or any weapon, massive security oversight. What if this had been a state actor and somebody just looking to do as much harm as possible, not just get to the president? What do I mean? What if he had a suicide vest on? That's what I mean. Okay, fine. He didn't make it past security. But he could have blown that vest and possibly brought the roof down on the whole party, wiping out half our government in one night. Then you have the fact that he apparently stored the gun in a closet nearby. I don't think that closet was marked on this. Let's see. Glass revolving door, columns, elevator bank, security checkpoint. Yeah, I don't see anything about the closet, but apparently somewhere over here where he was getting ready off camera, there was like a makeshift closet set up that had carts in it, and that's where he had stored his gun. He went, got it, put it together, and then proceeded on his attack. That's an oversight. The fact that there was nobody checking these things, the fact that the closet wasn't secured, just a simple lock on the door, Obviously, you're not necessarily going to post a security guard to a closet door, but we're talking about the Secret Service here. We're talking about people that have unlimited resources. They could put a hotel, bellhop standing at that door just to make sure nobody goes in or out. There's options. You have the fact that all of the security guards in this video are just standing around, talking to each other, not paying attention. This is their job. While everybody else is partying, their job is to be on full alert. Not on full alert if something happens. Full alert while nothing's happening. So that nothing happens. That, I think, is the biggest problem here. I don't know who it is in Secret Service. And I know why. I understand Trump didn't badmouth him. He doesn't want to badmouth him. And I get it. These people watch him every day. He doesn't want to badmouth the people that are doing their jobs. And I think most of them are probably trying. I don't know if it's bad leadership. I don't know if it's just lack of experience, but I find that hard to believe because I'm not a security expert. But I know a little bit because of this show, because of the research I've had to do before. And I know that these are all problems, especially for the quote-unquote most elite security agency in the fucking country. If it was at the White House, I could have a little more forgiveness for the casual attitudes. Because the White House is a fortress. It has built-in sensors and detectors. It has a lot of things that are out of sight, out of mind to allow you a little more leeway that, there'll be an alarm that goes off, basically, if something's going to happen. This isn't that. They should be on full alert. They're in an unprotected building. On top of that, they're in an unprotected building full of strangers whom they clearly could not vet all of. And maybe they did vet this guy. I hope to God that they did. Okay? I hope that they vetted everybody that was staying in the hotel during this time. I would like to think they did, but I'm concerned that they didn't. But if they did, I can understand why they would have vetted him and he would have slipped by, barring certain facts. Certain facts. He was a California school teacher. He has no criminal record. There's nothing that would have raised a red flag as far as that goes. So I can understand why that wouldn't draw any scrutiny necessarily, even if they did vet him. Unless he just bought all those guns last week or something. The fact that he's only in the hotel for 2 days, maybe. I don't know. I don't know how he did this. Maybe he was smart enough, to book multiple nights, whatever. But I do know that most Americans expect a hell of a lot more from the Secret Service. Butler was one of the worst oversights we've ever seen, but that was under the Biden administration. And we understood why Trump didn't necessarily have a crack squad. And we realized that it's quite possible that there were people in the Secret Service that allowed that lapse to happen. And especially because nothing like that had happened in such a long time, we could see how normalcy bias might stop people from going, hey, there's a guy on that roof with a gun. But he must be here. He must be, Secret Service, not in uniform or something, because why would Secret Service allow somebody that close with a gun, right? We could see how normalcy bias would creep in on something like that. But there's been 2 attempts on Trump's life now. There should be zero normalcy bias. There should be anything that remotely stands out being checked. The fact that this guy was able to get past these agents And yes, he was shot as he went past him, apparently. But the fact that he was able to get past them at all is a problem. There should have been barriers in the way, and these agents should have been paying attention. He should have never been able to catch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 agents off guard. And I get that these guys weren't particularly worried because they have agents outside, right? And so the thinking would be, well, if a threat's coming, it's going to come from outside. It's got to go through all those agents and then get to us. So probably not a huge deal. Except all the guests in the hotel. Except that there's other ways into the building that could be utilized. Except that whoever it is could have help on the inside. Except that whoever it is could have training. None of these lapses are acceptable or excusable and should not be overlooked because this president will die if Secret Service does not step it up. Just to be 100% clear, that's in no way any sort of threat. What I'm saying is, there's been 3 attempts on his life already. Chances are, there's plenty of other crazy leftists out there. Chances are another one will try. And if Secret Service keeps allowing these ridiculous lapses in security, these simple, stupid mistakes, they might not get so lucky the next time. And I pray that that's not true. But my hopes aren't high right now. And nobody seems willing to criticize them. When they fucking deserve it. Every second of it. They are lucky nobody died in this because it would be on their hands. And I would say, where was the police in this? Because I know that DC police were there. But I understand that it's DC and the chief of police in DC and stuff doesn't like Trump at all, so I could see why they wouldn't be willing to point out obvious security holes when they see them. Let's see a couple others. Because unfortunately, that's not all. So first of all, here's the guns he was carrying. You got a 12 gauge shotgun. I assume this is a pump action and it's just open, but it could be a semi-auto. Who knows? Doesn't matter. It looks like a Mossberg 500 with a stock I'm not 100% familiar with, but it looks like a Mossberg 500, relatively cheap shotgun. This looks like a Rock Island 1911 cheap knockoff. 7-round mag, 45 caliber, cheap gun. Pretty typical with leftists. I find this interesting. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 knives. Multiple ways of carrying them. We also have wire cutters for some reason. Zip ties, maybe? I don't know. Again, this goes a little bit to the kind of like egotistical or narcissistic thinking that like he's fucking John Wick or something, but nonetheless, some of the other security concerns here. Hang on, I'm trying to find them. I've got several videos going on. We also have some weird conspiracy stuff we'll get to, too, about this, but... Okay, so here is a security lapse outside the event. This one is more on DC Police than it is Secret Service, but... So this woman, right now, has already gone past the security line trying to run towards what looks like the presidential limousine. I don't believe this actually is. The vice president might be in this. I'm not sure who it is, but... Was it a half-hearted attempt? Yes. Should she have been shot? Yes.
Stay behind the perimeter. Do not cross that gate.
The fact she's not in handcuffs right now. Okay. She is in handcuffs, so that's good.
Hey, you fine?
Yes. Back up.
The fact that they even allowed people this close, though.
You're not listening.
Why?
Literally, there was fucking shots.
What if she had a gun? What if she had an explosive? She should have been shot. It's a poor attempt. What did she say right here?
Literally, there was fucking shots.
I don't know. Okay. Anyway. So yet another security lapse. Same time, same event. Let's see. All right. I thought I had one more here. I'm looking for it. Oh, yeah. Here you go. This is a hot mic from two Fox correspondents.
I love that they have like two random chicks holding the front door open. We're not even trying anymore. It's not even like, I just mean like they're not even like Secret Service people. It's like the girls who work here are holding the door. Even if it was the guys, it wouldn't even make it better. It's like she's fine, just like they might as well put a doorstop in. Like, they put up a doorstop and a scarecrow. Don't fuck with this guy. I love that they have like two random chicks holding the front door open. We're not even trying anymore.
When normal people
it's not even like, I just mean like they're not even like Secret Service people. It's like
are
the girls
pointing
who
out
work
these
here are
things,
holding the door.
you
Even if
should
it
be
was the guys,
fucking
wouldn't even make it
embarrassed
better. It's like
as the most elite security in the world.
like they might as well put a doorstop in. Like, they put up a doorstop and a scarecrow. Don't fuck with this guy.
I don't know if there's much more to say on that other than, God, I hope someone puts the pressure on them. Because we are incredibly lucky that this hasn't gone so much worse than it has. 2 innocent people have already died in the first assassination attempt. We don't need any more. Is somebody in Secret Service making these holes for a reason? Are they just that incompetent? What is it? Figure out what it is and fix it. Because that's literally why we pay them. There's also some weird controversy going around about this. And this video, by the way, says that it's identifying the woman as a Ukrainian ambassador to the USA, Olga something. That's not who this is, so ignore that. But this video of her taking a bottle of champagne off the table making a big deal out of this, mostly on the left, of course. And I have no idea why. Like, oh no, she drank a bottle of champagne that was meant for her to drink. So, who gives a shit? I don't even know what to say about it. And that's part of why I'm taking this break, because I just need a break from all of this depressing fucking news going on. Oh, by the way, Kash Patel was specifically mentioned as not being targeted. There's lots of theories as to why. One theory just says because he specified that he was trying not to target law enforcement, and so that's why he specifically said Patel wasn't, Kash Patel wasn't one of the targets, because he said all the administration, but not Patel. It could be because Patel isn't white. It could be any number of things. I don't know that it matters. If we get some sort of information that changes it, fine, but without that, I don't know that it matters. Anyway, so we got this video also. This comes from Armidas at ACCABBAT on X. And he says this is the congressional offices, and that the absolute state of security is insane. By Secret Service, by DC Police, by all of it. He said, you'll know when you see it. So I'm not 100% sure what we're going to see in this, but I can tell you the first thing I see, which is that these people are doing their own security. There's nobody here doing it for them. Like, what the fuck is going on? And maybe that's because this is a employee entrance or something. I don't give a shit. We pay more than enough money to protect these people with the utmost protection. What the fuck is going on? There's literally nobody even standing watching. If you thought that guy was standing watching, he isn't. I mean, he is watching, but he's not a security guard. The best I can hope is that someone's off screen, but no one is clearly going through their shit for them. Look at this. Look at this. He put his drink down. He went to grab it before he went through the metal detectors. Didn't put it through the metal detector. Same thing here. Drinks down. That is a huge security concern and lapse. There could have been anything in that bottle. There could have been poisons. There could have been explosives. There could have been water. Absolutely incredible. At least there are some police at this one. But watch, we're about to see it again. We just saw them put their 2 drinks down. And why does this look like a bunch of people on January 6th? Walks through, grabs his drinks. Puts his drinks down. Walks through. Grabs the drink. That guy walks right by without even going through the detectors. I don't know if that's for a particular reason or not. Truly insane. And look at the size of some of these bottles. Everyone's wearing masks, so it's not like you can correctly identify them to know who it is you're looking at either. Oh, look. It went off. Nobody's checking him. They're too busy talking to each other. You see that? Look at that. Watch when this guy goes through. Look. It went off. They're too busy chatting it up. Every single one of these people should be fired. Every single one. Enough is enough already. I'm tired of protecting all these fucking government employees, cops or not, law enforcement or not. I don't care if you work for the fucking Food and Drug Administration. I am so sick of all these federal employees, state employees, government employees being protected when they're not even trying to do their job. The TSA, the FBI, these fucking clowns, the Secret Service, fire all of them until somebody is willing to take it seriously. I mean, holy shit. We have enemies in this country. What is it going to take for these people to take it seriously? I don't get it. I really don't get it. I'm truly astounded watching that video. Truly astounded. I have some leftists, you know, talking shit, but I don't really care. What else do we have? Yeah, I just don't care. I was gonna play some of the leftists and their unhinged talking points, but just who cares? Genuinely. Oh, but let's point this out. 5 high-capacity spraying drones were stolen in a suspected coordinated theft in New Jersey last month. The FBI is investigating and reportedly very concerned about potential misuse. No shit. Do you have any idea how many people one of these could kill if the wrong thing was put into the tank and released over a certain area at a specific height? I don't know, but I know it's a lot. Potentially in the hundreds of thousands. We have enemies in this country. These are very specific drones to be stolen. If they were just regular drones, it wouldn't be all that odd. Why sprayer drones? I hurt for my country with information like this. I genuinely do.
Motherfuckers missed again. Oh my god.
I'm already crying.
Imagine faking your own assassination attempt for the third time and then everybody's just upset that it wasn't real and that you didn't croak.
I wake up each morning hoping he has died. I go to bed each night hoping by the time I get up in the morning, he has died. For the love of all things good, just fucking die!
They missed again? It's America! They missed again!
If somebody misses one more time, nobody wants to work these days. Nobody wants to get out there and work.
Motherfuckers missed again. Oh my god.
I'm already crying.
Imagine faking your own assassination attempt for the third time and then everybody's just upset that it wasn't real and that you didn't croak.
Because yet again, somebody has attempted to take the life of US President Donald Trump. This time at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Now, the armed man, believed to be a teacher from Torrance in California and a Democrat supporter, had been staying in the hotel and had somehow managed to smuggle a cache of weapons in with him when he then took it upon himself to storm the dinner, firing bullets. Thankfully, there have been no casualties. And yet this is the third time that someone's attempted to take President Trump's life. In fact, if you were to look at a comparison between assassination attempts and successful assassinations of US presidents and compare those lodged against Republicans and those leveled against the Democrats, you would find a distinct pattern. We're told, aren't we, that the right wing are dangerous, that we're far right, that we are warmongers, that we are filled with hate, that we're divisive, that we need to calm down our rhetoric, that we somehow pose an existential threat to society. And yet the evidence just doesn't really bear that out, does it? Because, yet again, bullets flying through the air at an American event aimed towards somebody on the right wing. Present at that dinner, Erica Kirk, the widow of the assassinated Charlie Kirk. Extremely traumatizing event for her. And so what do we do about this? Because it seems to me, if you are on the right wing and you so much as suggest that immigration should be a bit better controlled, you are treated as if you're abhorrent, you are ostracized, you're demonized. On the left, however, you can be as radical as you like. You can use terms such as stamp on the necks of the fascists, rid our streets of Nazis. And we've been through this debate time and again, have we not? Where we turn around and say, everyone's got to cool down the rhetoric. We've all got to mind our words. No, it's not we all. Because from where I'm sitting, there's only one side of politics that is posing the imminent threat to life. Indeed, on a regular basis, seems to be attacking police officers or shouting terrorist slogans in the street or calling for somebody to be stopped at any cost, using terms such as scum, fascist, Nazi. What are we going to do about this lunatic left wing that seems to have gripped America and indeed gripped the United Kingdom? Does it surprise me that this man responsible for the attempted assassination was a teacher? Well, perhaps in America, much like in the United Kingdom, many of the teachers' unions are gripped by radical communism. Does it surprise me he comes from California? indeed an entire state at times that looks as though it's gripped by radical communism. America, and indeed Britain by its side, spent much of the last century fighting radical communism, both at home and abroad. We considered those who spread its messages and those who pushed its agenda to be so troubling and so dangerous that we went through decades developing weapons technologies, intense levels of spying and agency work and intelligence in order to root out those who might share the sentiments of failed communist dictatorships. Fast forward the clock to 2026, and it seems to me, rather than fighting communism, we seem to have it sitting on the green benches of the House of Commons. We have it teaching in schools. We have it infesting our unions. We have it being pushed on social media websites, completely unrestrained, in full belief that they are the ones with superior moral virtue, however twisted, however sick, as Donald Trump might say, these people are. They're enabled, they're celebrated, they're cheered on. We need to get real, because what we're seeing taking place in the United States of America could happen here, especially if we also find ourselves having a change of government. This scourge of left-wing pestilence, the lunacy, the name-calling, the violent rhetoric, the protests, the lies, the fake news, the violence. It's time we addressed it. It's got to stop. It's got to stop today.
It's interesting to see somebody in Britain that concerned about it. But, of course, she's right. It's interesting to me how little that we are doing about it here. We don't have to tolerate this. Like any other conservative on the internet, I get death threats damn near every day. Violent threats, I should say. Damn near every day. Got one today. Just part of life as a conservative right now. But I guess because we believe in living by a set of rules, by a code, it won't be until those on the left that claim they do the same start calling out their own that we see actual change. You guys can let me know what you think. JBU@USA.com. To send me an email directly. x.com/JBU_show. And rebel.com/user/justbetweenus. Let's get to the conspiracy theory real quick. I don't have a lot of information for you on this, just what's here. But we have this tweet from a Henry Martinez on X. Tweeted December 21st, 9:07 p.m., 2023. Has a huge amount of views, too, which is interesting. All it says is Cole Allen. That's all it says. Now remember, one of the theories about these shooters, about would-be assassins, mass shooters, manifesto-driven lunatics. And calling this guy a lunatic, I think, is letting him off too easy. But the theory is that an intel agency would target a person. They would select a person, target them, inundate them with propaganda, maybe through a friend that they meet on the internet or in person, maybe just through manipulation of emails and messages that are sent to them, comments online, any number of ways that you could get to a person, and slowly turn them more and more and more every day. If that were true, target selection and all of that would have taken place at least a year before, maybe 2 years before the actual event. Because it takes time to convince an otherwise normal person to do crazy things. Some are motivated by money. Some are motivated by a cause. The best motivation is a combination of the two. That's a quote from something. If you know what it is, let me know in the comments. Nonetheless, is that why this name was tweeted by a random account that theoretically maybe has some sort of connection to Lockheed Martin? I'm not really sure what this is, but maybe. The other connection here is that this has to do, you can see Goddard Space Flight Center conference paper, name on there, Martinez Henry, Lockheed Martin. Obviously, this name here. And Cole Allen, I believe, worked at NASA. This is under Cole Allen's LinkedIn page. Game developer, engineer, scientist, teacher, added modeling capability for planets around several previously excluded stars, updated the most recent version of the model with the new chemical reaction data, identified multiple sources of discrepancies between two versions of the model. So there you go. Summer undergraduate research fellowship student. So that might be his potential connection to the Martinez name and NASA in general. It would also be a reason that they probably have a psych profile on this person because he applied for a job at NASA. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. It's just a conspiracy. Anyway. Let's see. I think we're going to leave it there tonight. And I guess for now, we'll finish off with a funny video here. But thank you guys for watching over this last however long it's been since I took my last break. I appreciate you guys being here. I know it's slow night because it's Monday. We don't normally go on Monday, but like I said, I wanted to do a episode letting you guys know why I'm not here, just in case anybody comes looking over the next couple weeks. Just gonna take a little personal time off. That's all. Let's see if we reconnect here. Sorry about that dropout. No idea what happened, but I think we're back on the air. I think we're good. But anyway, we're wrapping up anyway, so I guess it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and we'll watch this one. This is a nice throwback video. It's just a little funny video before we get out of here. And then I'll sign off. Funny, I feel like I should say more leaving, but I'll be back when I'm back.
Hey, Stacy. Do you want to go out sometime?
I love the friends in the background. Come on, man, do it. All right, guys. JBU@USA.com to send an email. X.com/JBU_show. Rumble.com/user/just between us. And don't forget to check out my co-host Austin's podcast. X.com/MillerTalk_pod and MillerTalk.substack.com. All right, guys. With that, enjoy the couple weeks, and we'll be back with you soon. With that, my name is Chris, and this has been the JBU Show.
Bye, 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 bye. Wait, I want to be a little bit louder.
Yeah.
This is only between us.
This is just between us.
This is between us.
Perfect. 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 Perfect.